Well, welcome everybody to Betanysports.com. This is our World Cup preview and pick show. We'll be picking all the matches for tomorrow. That is June the 26th, Tuesday's matches. And there are some very big matches happening tomorrow. Very, very important matches as it relates to the groups and to the brackets. I'm going to tell you two of them right now. France, Denmark, Argentina, Nigeria. These are big matches because some of these groups are squeaky bum time for some of those teams. So let's get into it. Nick Webster, have you fully recovered from England's classic victory?
Absolutely not. It was quite brutal being at a pub at 5 o'clock in the morning. And yes, they were serving alcohol. So it was a long day, but well worthwhile. And as you can see, I'm not shaving anymore until England get knocked out of the tournament, Nick. So hopefully I'll look like Santa come mid-July.
Well, you know, Nick, even if they are knocked, I mean, they look, unless you think England are going to win it, at some point they're going to get knocked out of the tournament. I would say that they're going to go home with their heads held high after having done things that haven't been done since, Gary Lineker was the last person to score a hat-trick in the World Cup for England. I mean, that's a long time ago. So Harry Kane has cemented his position as England's current best player out there. His value is skyrocketing. I'm sure at Spurs they're now fielding massive bids from Barcelona and Real Madrid for him that will, of course, decimate Spurs, but give them a lot of money with which they can do nothing, because that's how it works in this world. The World Cup is the big stage for all the marbles. So good. Glad that you're back. Glad that you're recovered. Glad that you've let the alcohol pass through your system, Nick, because we have some tight picks to make here today. And let's talk about it. Let's start with the first match coming up in group. This is a Group C matchup, and we are now talking about Peru, Australia. Both of these teams, Peru certainly is done. There's no hope for them to move forward. Australia are in a very interesting position, Nick, because if they should win against Peru, it will put them on 4 points. Denmark are facing a very game French team at 6 points, Denmark at 4. Australia would have to win by at least a 2-goal margin to make that work, because that would give them 4 points, and they're currently at -1, Denmark +1, which means that Australia are going to have to come out to win this game, and to win this game solidly against a Peru team, Nick, that has been, if anything, exceptionally unlucky to date.
Yeah, they've been very unlucky, and that, I think, you know, the commentators' cliche is to say, yeah, they're a game team. Well, they are a game team, and they work their way through the field really, really well. Where they've been struggling is in that final third, and that's where Australia have been struggling as well. But actually, I do see goals in this one, and I actually predict Peru to win 2-1. So put that in your memory banks, and you've got a few bob spare. Betanysports.eu. Head down there. Peru and the over.
Peru and the over. I like it, Nick. That's a good one. Now I'm going to tell you the team news coming out of the camp, so this might change your mind. For Peru, apparently Jefferson Farfan suffered a head injury in training, will not be playing, and that's very unfortunate. There are lots of, and on the Australian camp, they're going to make a few changes, but there's lots of pressure on Van Marwijk, the Australian coach, to play Daniel Arzani from the get-go. He's the youngest player currently at the World Cup at age 19. With all the marbles on the line for Australia, I don't think he's going to be experimenting. He'll probably bring him in off the bench again. But you know, Nick, I sort of like Australia at +220 on this one. I think they're a game team. I think Peru have been very unlucky, and I don't see any reason why that should stop. +220, it's 2.5 goals, the over-under. I don't think it's going to work out for Australia, but I'm going to say take the under at -127. So that's my that's my take on tomorrow's match. Nick, you are Peru and the over?
Yes, that's correct. And we will reconvene this time tomorrow so I can lord it over you.
Yeah, you know, you always think you can do that, but I think I'm doing better than you are on this one, Nick.
Okay,
I have the Bugatti Chiron. You have the Ford Fusion. So, you know, clearly there's been a difference.
90 minutes will tell the tale.
All right. The next match is in Group C. It is France, Denmark. This is a huge match for many, many reasons, not least of which is that this could decide Denmark's World Cup round of 16. France, of course, have already booked their way through. I think, Nick, France would like to come out top of this group because they are going to play the second in group. What is it? They play the second.
Yeah.
Why do they make this so small,
Croatia.
Nick? Why do they make this writing so small? Don't they know I wear glasses? They're
Yes,
going to be Iceland, Argentina,
magnificent.
Nigeria. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, seriously. Denmark know that if they could win this game, that they would avoid Croatia. And Croatia right now are many people's favourites to go a long way in this tournament, especially after the demolishing of Argentina, which they made look very, very easy. So I think France can't take their eye off this game. But if you can imagine a tie suits both teams, and if they don't expend a lot of energy, they're going to put themselves into those knockout rounds with a fresh group of players. And I think that's something to be very aware of in these World Cup moments, especially in the third game. If you can afford not to put your foot firmly on the accelerator, then sometimes that's the play to make. And I see that being France's definite reason why they perhaps won't go full ball. But I see this one actually being low scoring, and I'm gonna stick my neck out and say it's gonna be a draw.
You know, Nick, Denmark are in second place, but not by dint of any stellar, incredible play. I mean, they squeaked by Peru 1-0, and they were beaten by France 1-0. Pardon me, excuse me. Then they tied Australia 1-1. I'll get the matches right here. They haven't really impressed me with anything all that much, except defensively they're pretty good. I don't know. I still think there are a lot of players on that French team that have something to prove. Now, whether Didier Deschamps will give them the opportunity, he may want to rest players. But I honestly think, Nick, that France will be well served to stay as far away from Croatia as they can get in the next round, and hopefully someone else will dispatch Croatia for them. But I think they've got a lot to play for here. I like France on this match, and I think they break through. I'm going to say this is probably a 2-0 match, and I will tell you right now, France are plus. Wow, Nick, these odds, courtesy of Betanysports.eu, they're a bit insane actually. Look at this. Both France and Denmark are in the plus columns. Denmark is plus 389. France plus 119. The draw is plus 177. Folks, I'm taking France plus 119 all the way here. If it wasn't a matchup with Croatia on the other side at stake, I would probably be inclined to go Websterian on you and take the draw. But given the fact that if they don't come out top, their chances are great they're going to face Croatia. I am going to go with France at plus 119. The over-under, it's 2 goals total. It's minus 103, minus 112. Zero value there. I'm not touching total points on this one. I am going to take the money line on France at plus 119. Nick, you going to change your mind?
Well, possibly. I believe that France they're giving Denmark half a goal. And if that's the case, I may even be tempted to go Denmark because the draw pays out for the Danes.
You're going for Denmark then, right?
It's a tough one.
Come on, you know they're not going to win this.
I'm going to go for the draw.
You're going to go for the draw at plus 177. All right, I'm going for France plus 119. Nick's going for the draw at plus 177. Neither of us are taking the total goals on this one. It is 2, the over-under. No value, minus 103, minus 112. Let's move on to the next one. This is a whopper of a match, Nick. This is quite possibly the biggest match the World Cup to date. We're talking about Argentina, Nigeria. And this is a critical match because Argentina have absolutely no choice here but to win this match if they hope to advance, because they are sitting dead last right now in Group D, which has proven to be the toughest group in the World Cup, with Croatia, Nigeria, Iceland, and Argentina. They have to win this match. News out of the camps. Apparently, the Argentinian coach, Sampaoli, isn't even picking the player lineups anymore, Nick. It is a disaster in Argentina. We've been told to expect starts from Armani, Banega, Di Maria, Higuain. They're all set to start. going to have a few changes. And for Nigeria, John Obi Mikel, we're not sure if he's 23 or 97. We're still quite not sure about how old he is, but he will be playing with a cast on his arm. So hopefully the VAR will be ready to review any broken split skulls to see if there was a cast doing the damage. This is a must-win match for Argentina, and they are currently the bookies' favorites at minus 175. Nigeria, some astounding value here, Nick Webster, plus 560 for Nigeria.
No, that can't be right.
It is absolutely correct. I have it printed out. I'm going to look at it here. Plus 560.
Your glasses must be screwed up.
Not only that, Nick, but you see the printing when I print it out from Betany Sports, it's very small. I then rewrite it down here.
Well,
and I can tell you, I'm looking at the small printing. It says Nigeria plus 560.
Stop the presses, stop the show, and run. Don't walk to your computer or wherever you go and put some money on Nigeria, because this is a team that isn't full of mugs. This is a team that really put Iceland to the sword with a devastating display of attacking football. Argentina, as you mentioned, are all over the shop. There's crisis in the camps. I don't see how a team can come together in the space of 48 hours and change that around. I really fancy Nigeria to do the business, finish off on Argentina, put their foot firmly on the RG's throat, and send Leonard, Messi and co., along with Maradona, back to Buenos Aires with their tail firmly between their legs.
Well, when he leaves Russia, he's not Leonard Messi anymore. It becomes Lionel again. I wonder if he's liked being called Leonard Messi.
Well, he won't be going back to Argentina. He'll be going back to
Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems, okay, because he doesn't necessarily see himself as an Argentine. There's all sorts of issues there. I will say this, Nick, when Manchester United had the managerial shift, so Alex Ferguson left and David Moyes took over, he was politely asked after the first few disastrous matches to please not come to Old Trafford in the near future because it was putting a lot of pressure on David Moyes and the team. And by the way, to Alex Ferguson's credit, I mean, you can't say enough about the man, right? I mean, he did exactly that. He stayed away, which was shocking for a lot of people. But he's a man of honor, if anything. Diego Maradona needs to do the same thing. Until they can get rid of this long shadow of Maradona off the Argentine team, they will never rise to the levels that they can rise, no matter how great the talent on this squad, Nick.
No, they have a bunch of talent, but great article by Jorge Valdano, the 1986 winner and former teammate of Maradona, who just said that Argentina have gone away from their values of who an Argentinian team is all about. They're so focused now on winning and having this figurehead of Messi, and it's not what Argentinian soccer is all about. So I think he brings up some really good points. Yes, the shadow of Maradona just looms over the Argentinian team. We could say much the same for 1966 and the Three Lions. At some point, you have to put that to bed, and Argentina needs to focus on what they're really good at, and that's playing football with a smile on their faces. And right now, they don't do that, and that's epitomized by Messi. I don't see how they can turn it around in short order, and unless they thrash Nigeria and Croatia and Iceland don't cook the books, Argentina are going out.
Yes, they are. Well, let's talk about that. Minus 175 for Argentina, plus 560 for Nigeria. The draw's plus 335. It's 2.5 goals, total goals. Both minus 120 for the over, plus 105 for the under, Nick. Plus 105 for the under. But, for me, I kind of like the draw at plus 335.
I can't see a draw. I just think there's too much turmoil in this Argentinian team. Even if it was tied 1-1 going into the 91st minute, I still fancy something dramatic to happen. I don't think this group will be decided until the referee blows his whistle in both these games to signify the end of both these contests. I just see a lot of movement, a lot of changes. And I think it's going to be a thrill ride. But at the end of that thrill ride, Croatia first, Nigeria second.
All right, there you have it. Well, let's go to the next match then. So you're going to take Nigeria for this match at plus 560, which is great value. I'm going to take the draw at plus 335. Neither of us have Argentina winning this. We could both be wrong, but that's how we see it. Next match, Croatia, Iceland. Nick, the big news out of the Croatian camp is that Zlatko Dalic, the Croatian coach, has said he is going to rest players on this match. Most notably, Luka Modric and Ivan Rakitic are going to be rested. Does that give Iceland an opportunity to get a draw or maybe the win here?
It absolutely does. We're talking about the two preeminent midfielders in world football. One plays for Real Madrid, the other one plays for Barcelona, and they absolutely boss those two clubs.
Yeah.
Put those two together, and that's why Croatia is such a fearsome opponent. I mean, from top to bottom, they have great players in every position. I really like Mandukic up front. Yeah, he's a real handful. And the fact that these two players are going to get rested, I'm sure there'll be more players getting rested, does give Iceland a great opportunity. And this is a team we have seen that will relish the opportunity to play one of the big boys and put something over on them. We've seen it against England. We've seen Iceland against Argentina. And I would not be surprised if Iceland took care of business and beat Croatia. However, Croatia's still going to win the group. So it could be a smart play. I have spoken about momentum being a really valuable weapon as the tournament moves forward. Would I be surprised if Iceland beat Croatia? Yes, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a very low scoring game.
Well, you won't be surprised by this, Nick. Here are the odds. Croatia is plus 121. Iceland are plus 257. I mean, look, Croatia are the bookies' favorites, but they are not the prohibitive favorites here. This is not a plus 560 and a minus 175 like we have in the Argentina-Nigeria game, where Argentina are clearly the prohibitive favorites. This is a lot closer. I think a lot of the bookies and a lot of the punters out there, Nick, the sharps are seeing this as you and I see it, which is that Iceland could certainly get a result here. I, for my money, actually like the draw on this one at plus 241. I think is great value for the draw. And the total goals, the unders plus 123, 2. So when I'm looking at the draw, I'm thinking a nil-niller at plus 123. So that's how I have it. Nick, you're saying go with Iceland, and I'm sure at that point you want the over, correct? And that is minus 138.
To be fair, I like the way you're thinking, and the reason the way I like the way you think, we've had approximately 37 games so far in this World Cup. We've yet to have a 0-0 draw. So I can see where the bookies I can see what they're thinking. I could see a 1-0 scoreline.
Yeah.
I'm really having a hard time predicting which way it goes, whether it be Croatia or Iceland. But if I don't pick a team, which of course you're going to force me to do, I am going to go with the under, and I will go with Croatia in the under.
Croatia at plus 121 and the under. By the way, that is a very good bet. I'm going with the draw, but Croatia at plus 121, a plus number in front of Croatia is always a good bet at this World Cup. So, Nick, you're going with Croatia plus 121 and the under. Actually, I didn't even realize that the value's there quite there on Croatia. I think I might change and go with Croatia plus 21. Not that I'm predicting the outcome. I just think this is a better value. Croatia are more likely to win this game than they are to draw. So I'm going to go plus 121 with Croatia and the under. I'm going to go with you, Nick. I think I'm going to flip-flop. I'm going to go with you. That's a good bet. All right, folks, there you have it. There are our picks for tomorrow's matches. Hope you enjoyed it. Have yourself a little bet. Go off to Betanysports.eu, where if you sign up right now and use the affiliate code 5th Street, you can get a 50% bonus on your deposit. And we will be back on the air with you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's 4 p.m. Eastern for more World Cup prognostication and picks right here on 5th Street Sports. Ta-ta.